It's Dew Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Dew Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you yesterday? Yesterday was Wow Wednesday, and we got to talking to Vivian, and her socially conscious segment was up, and we started talking about New York City losing people, y'all. Listen, this is no strange thing. We've heard people have been relocating. Well, they say in 2025 we lost the most people in as many years as we ever have. Yep. Especially they say the millennials who are moving because of high living costs, taxes, schools, and they're going to Florida, they're going to Texas, and actually Long Island, which tends to be a little expensive. So somebody's like kind of scratching their head. Well, you know what? Remember, they said the international people are not visiting the way they should. So we were losing money the last time Vivian talked. Well, now she's saying New York City is losing people. Well, you know what? What you gonna do? What you're gonna do? What are you gonna do? You got to get yourself together and figure out how you're gonna make it here in New York, or say bye-bye. Well, out in Pennsylvania, the teacher pool is looking a whole lot better as they are saluting one man, Mr. Leon Smith, for his 25 years in that seat in the classroom. They have now named him 2026 National Teacher of the Year. And he's been doing his thing. He says, there's a lot more to teaching than what goes on in the classroom. He takes them to, let's say, Washington to show them how, decisions are made. And, we really got to give it up to him, because I got to tell you, we have been doing some stories on stories about our teachers, and really they have not been making out very well. Either the children are driving the teachers crazy, or the teachers are doing stuff to the children. So we really give God thanks for Mr. Leon Smith. Well, our immigrant children, are really, really getting a tough way of living out in Westchester in a New York facility, where there have been complaints of children being harmed, whether they're being thrown to the ground, whether they're being restrained, some complaints of isolation rooms. And we know it's not really foreign, because we've gotten these stories before. Yeah, we've done stories just like this. Well, the New York government, not New York, but the government, they're not taking any chances. They snatch those children up out of there while they do the investigation, and hopefully somebody's making up a story, because we really don't want to know that these children are being subjected to ill treatment. And last but I'm tongue-tied this morning. Definitely not least, we've got a big thing going on up in Texas. Yes, where the 10 Commandments have been pushed back into the school. Yeah, last year, a little bit of 2024, there's been this battle on whether the 10 Commandments should be in the school, whether it shouldn't be in the school. And now they have pushed for the federal rule that the 10 Commandments should be in the school. So yesterday we said, listen, take those 10 Commandments for these, how many minutes before they try to snatch them out again. Give your children these 10 Commandments in these classrooms. Hopefully get something instilled in them. And we don't know how long it's going to last, but we pray that it lasts long enough that, Jesus will be returning before they pull the 10 Commandments out to school. Well, those are just some of the things we talked about yesterday. Make sure you go back and watch or listen because it was a very, very good segment. Okay. Well, today is Therapeutic Thursday. Yes, today we get to talk about our health in any shape, form, or fashion. Make sure you join us today because we don't know whether we're talking about our physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, financial health. We can talk about it all in one episode. So come on and join us for this conversation. Hopefully you'll be blessed, we'll be blessed, and God's people will be blessed. So go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Go ahead and tell somebody, anybody, everybody that It's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere because we will be right back.
That's been taught for years and years and years to get really clear intention about the physical matter things we want. I want $1 million in the bank. I want a private jet. I want to weigh 150 pounds. But the truth is we really don't want those things. We want the emotion we think those things will give us. Wouldn't it be smarter for people to get, and very few people ever do, to get clear about the emotions they wish to experience on a regular basis and not the
People can create all kinds of wealth and they can create all kinds of abundance. They can have the cars, the homes, and everything. But if they can't be present to enjoy them, I've sat with billionaires and they've looked me in the eye and said, we're all miserable. We're all miserable. So then at what point do you have to wait to change? Does it have to be that lowest point? Or can you learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration instead of pain and suffering? And that becomes the art.
we have
Hey, good morning, and good morning again. Welcome back to It's Due Time with Pastor Steph, and it is Therapeutic Thursday. Yes, today we talk about our health in any shape, form, and fashion. Listen, we may have gotten a little cut off from our PSA, but it was a good PSA. A lot of people think that money brings happiness. A lot of people think that cars and possessions and a big house and all kinds of things like that bring happiness, but actually it doesn't. It really, really doesn't. A whole lot of wealthy people, rich people, they are unhappy. So that's just a hint and a half that money does not buy happiness. Look at the pool of Hollywood. Yo, they are the most unhappiest people ever. And they make $20 million a movie, $10 million a movie, $100,000 a movie. Listen, most of us don't live off of $100,000 in a whole year, and they make $100,000 in one shot. Now, they got to work for that thing, but at least they make it. You know what I'm saying? We got to struggle to even make half that much most times. So, and some of us are very happy. The real of it is only God can give you the joy that supersedes all understanding. That's what the Word of God says, and it has been proven. All right. Well, you know what we do at this time of the morning. Make sure that if you're in the room, you check in with me so that I know you're here and I can say a hearty good morning. Well, good morning, Your Highness Terrence. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us today. Why do I look like lopsided here? Let's see if we can straighten this thing out. Oh, there we go. Okay. we got to check in from our girl, Ketty. Hey, Ketty girl. Thank you so much for joining us. We got to check in from Serge. Hey, Serge. Thanks for joining us this morning. We got to check in from our girl, Teresa. Hey, Teresa. Happy traveling. Thank you so much for joining us. And yes, Ketty, that PSA is very, very true. We can't go any further without, there we go. Good morning, Miss Grace. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you can kind of stay in and get a little comfortable today. Well, we can't go any further without saying good morning to our ladies who hold it down in the background. Let's say good morning to our girl Shantice. Good morning. And let's say good morning to our girl Anika. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, it's Thursday morning. It's time for our health tip. And, I went to the doctor a couple of weeks ago, to the vascular doctor. And one of the things that they said was that the arteries in my legs, they had some clogging, had some plaque. And they say that comes from a combination of high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol. Those three put together are really, really, really not good, and will cause your legs to accumulate plaque. And I'm having like a lot of problems with my legs and complaining about my legs. And they're saying that that's one of the reasons why I'm having that problem. So I know we've done this before. I don't know how long ago, but I wanted to talk about this because, for those of us who have this, and you may not know you have this because it's not something that we can feel. But the concern is we've all heard of the clots go from our legs to our heart, and that took who was on the plane, Heavy D. He's one who ended up with that situation. So we want to make sure that we get rid of this high blood pressure. We want to make sure we get rid of this high cholesterol, as well as the diabetes, because it's killing us. And if it's not, it can. My eyes are going bonkers right now because of this stupid diabetes. So having had that conversation with the doctor, the last said was, Stephanie, you gotta lose the weight. So I'm definitely, in kind of like overdrive to see how I can get that done. And, clogged arteries can lead to heart disease. It can lead to a stroke and other conditions. And again, it can lead to death. So let's talk about the things that can unclog our arteries. Now, we know going forward, we can eat all those other foods we were talking about that help us with the diabetes, helps us with the high blood pressure, helps us with the high cholesterol, because we've done all of those numerous times. But we can't necessarily do anything about, what's happened. But we can start eating better to help undo the damage that we've been doing. All righty. So let's talk about those foods that help to unclog your arteries. Olive oil. Okay. Olive oil, they say that monounsaturated fat, which reduces that harmful cholesterol level. Yes. Because there's good cholesterol and there's bad cholesterol. Well, the bad cholesterol is the one that will clog your that will clog your arteries. So make sure you get that olive oil in. They say people who included olive oil on a regular basis has 30% lower risk of heart disease. Okay, so cook with it as much as you can, as well as put it on your salad and things like that. There's a lot of ways you can use olive oil. Nuts, and more nuts. Always on our list Almonds, walnuts, hazelnuts are mainly the nuts they're talking about to unclog your arteries. Those omega-3 fatty acids are known to elevate good cholesterol. Okay, remember, we're getting rid of that bad cholesterol, and we're getting in the good cholesterol. And those almonds, walnuts, and hazelnuts will definitely get the job done. They say that if you get those nuts in on a regular basis, 30% decline in the risk of cardiovascular disease. Okay, we got to check it from our girl, Lady Tamika. Hey, girl, how you doing? Thank you so much. We'll be so happy to talk to you on this side of the screen. Berries, again, another staple. Eating a lot more berries, strawberries, raspberries, blueberries. Definitely get those berries in. Those antioxidants will reduce oxidative stress, inflammation in the arteries. Okay, so the more berries you eat, you will decrease your blood pressure. And berries, again, we always talk about this, getting those berries in our system, all kinds of ways. I've started eating baked oats. Yes, remember, I got to do this. I have to go back and do this thing on the oatmeal. It is powerful. And you can put anything in oatmeal. So there we have our nuts. We have our berries. So I've been doing this baked oats, y'all, and they are delicious. I make a variation. I do some with berries. Last night I did some with mango. I do bananas and peanut butter, which is excellent. Excellent. Both of those are excellent. And again, I do the one with nothing but berries, mixed berries. So yesterday we had raspberries, we had blueberries, and we had blackberries last night, as well as what else? Listen, there's a raspberry and white chocolate one, and you don't have to put a lot, just a little bit, and it is so delicious because that chocolate melts and it spreads. So every bite has like a little bit of chocolate in it. But you can get that dark chocolate in there. We want to make sure we get the dark chocolate because they say that is extremely healthy. All right. Fatty fish. Yes, here we go. We're trying to unclog those arteries this morning. So we got the fatty fish. Remember, that's your salmon, your mackerel, those sardines. Getting in your system, excellent for omega-3 fatty acids, will lower blood triglycerides, decrease the plaque buildup in our arteries, and definitely the Heart Association will love you. Okay, avocados, yes, avocados, a staple for me now. Just getting that into my system. I have been making like egg rolls, but avocado rolls. And I've been doing some with just like a plain guacamole. I've also done with guacamole, or not as broken down, but I've mixed it with, bacalao, codfish. And it is delicious. So try it. I'm telling you, ways you can get these foods in on a regular basis. So you want to get those monounsaturated fats and potassium in your system from avocados, which will help lower your those harmful cholesterol levels, as well as regulating your blood pressure. Whole grains, here we go. Oats, there you go. Brown rice, quinoa. Those are fiber-rich foods that will definitely, they say, bind those cholesterol molecules in the digestive system, restricting their absorption into the bloodstream. And that's what we want, right? So make sure you get come on, don't do that to me. Those whole grains in your system. Leafy greens, another one that is a staple for us. We're unclogging our arteries this morning with the leafy greens. Remember, that's your Swiss chard, your spinach, your kale, which you can put in anything. Yes, your smoothies, salads, everything. You can definitely get those leafy greens in. They say definitely an increase in leafy greens will definitely reduce your cardiovascular diseases. Those leafy greens have high vitamin K content, and that will help prevent arterial calcification, and that's the arteries, that plaque that's in our arteries, okay? Citrus fruits. Remember, I just got finished telling you, putting that fruit in even the baked oats. Yeah, get creative, whatever you like. Get creative. Get that vitamin C in. Oranges, grapefruits, lemons, high in vitamin C, and that reduces the inflammation and will improve your arterial function, okay? Red grapes. We know grapes are good, but the red grapes are definitely great for unclogging your arteries. They say the compounds that are in the red grapes will definitely protect the arterial walls from damage, and that's what we want. They say that it will impede the formation of arterial plaques. There you go. Okay. Green tea every day. Let me tell you what I've done. I have now taken to drinking green tea to pretty much replacing anything I drink. I don't drink sweet stuff anyway, but I have started making green tea and chilling it, and I drink it almost like 24 hours a day along with my tons of water. All right, so get that green tea in your system as much as you can. It will definitely lower the risk of cardiovascular disease. And let me tell you something, green tea is powerful. All right, antioxidants all over the place. All right, which will help to improve the blood flow, and reduce our cholesterol levels. Turmeric. Definitely. Turmeric, just be prepared to get rid of all that yellow stain all over the place. But they say turmeric is powerful. They say that it will limit our arterial inflammation, prevent the buildup of arterial plaques, and get that turmeric into every single meal we eat. Yeah, you can sprinkle turmeric or anything. Just don't do it in high doses because it will shift the taste of your food. Yeah, so if you put a little bit in everything, then you won't, it won't taste you. You don't have to use as much. All right, garlic. All right, garlic. We're talking about breaking down those clogged arteries. Okay, they say garlic will definitely lower your cholesterol levels, reduce blood pressure, and give us healthier arteries. Okay, we got a check-in, and we have don't forget the honey. Nope, I haven't forgot. I haven't finished my list. So maybe if we don't cover it, but thank you for cluing us in on the honey. So hopefully it's going to be on this list. But if not, thank you for that honey. Let me see who's talking because I can't see that far. Let me see who said that. King Julius Caesar. Thank you. We appreciate that. King Julius. All righty. Let's see what else they're talking about. Wait now. Chia seeds. Definitely those omega-3 fatty acids and fiber we get from the chia seeds will help to reduce cholesterol and reduce the inflammation. Chia seeds, definitely powerful. You can get that in. Remember I talked about the baked oats? You can get it in there. You can get it in your overnight oats. You can have chia pudding. You can drink chia water. You can put chia seeds in a lot of things, but make sure you give them a chance to gel. You don't want to put them in your system and they have not gelled up. Okay. And it doesn't take that long. For me, I have a problem with my intestines. I cannot mess with chia seeds under 24 hours. No, I can literally feel them expanding, and I can't afford that to happen. So be careful. Make sure you let them set for a little bit, just because you don't know your tolerance level. Okay. Tomatoes. You know what I've started doing, and I really like them, and I'm going to actually do them today. We have the roasted tomatoes, those dried tomatoes. Put them in the oven at like 300. They say anywhere in between 250 and 300, and leave them in there for a couple of hours. And boy, let them set in some basil and olive oil. Ooh wee! It is delicious. You can add it to salad, your foods. So try it. But tomatoes, any way you can get them, any way you like. Remember your tomato sauce. Tomatoes broken down. Tomatoes. If you can't, some people can't tolerate like fresh tomatoes. Well, it definitely will reduce the risk of heart disease. And we definitely can find a million ways to get tomatoes into our system. Pomegranate. Remember we used to eat them, bite them, and spit them out, spit the seeds out? Yeah. Well, pomegranate. We did a study on pomegranate juice. Powerful. Expensive, but powerful. Pomegranate juice will reduce the arterial plaque and improve the blood flow. Pomegranates have antioxidants that can definitely improve arterial health and boost a whole lot of things in our body. So we definitely want to get that pomegranate in. As always, what is on the list? Legumes, those beans. Make sure you get those beans, those lentils, beans, chickpeas, definitely high in fiber, protein, and will lower your cholesterol levels and improve your heart health. They say it will reduce the risk of cardiovascular diseases. All right, so get those beans in your system. Broccoli. Now, just don't cook the broccoli till they like this. Yeah, just kind of steam them a little bit, blanch them. Take a little olive oil, get them in that pan, and definitely you can enjoy your broccoli, which will definitely help with those protecting our arteries from damage. Asparagus. Yes, those asparagus spears, asparagus tips, you can definitely utilize them to get your heart health and those arteries broken down, the plaque in the arteries broken down. They are a great source of fiber, antioxidants, and will definitely aid in breaking down that plaque. Dark chocolate, I just talked about that a little while ago. I put them in my baked oats. I put them in my I make a peanut butter, like what do you call it? Like greasy peanut butter cups. Yep, I make those, and they are delicious. Yes, and they have dark chocolate. Yes, so you want to get that dark chocolate in. They will, eating that little dark chocolate piece will improve your blood pressure, cholesterol levels. And they say dark chocolate consumption is associated with improved arterial function. All righty. Onions. Yes, those onions. All righty. Definitely rich in antioxidants, flavonoids, and definitely known for their anti-inflammatory properties, and definitely have the ability to promote our heart health. So if you eat all those foods, and let me just run them just in case you joined us later. Our King Julius Caesar gave us honey as well. For those of us who are diabetics, just get that honey in. Don't overdo it. We don't want to go in the opposite direction. But I have heard that honey is good for lowering cholesterol, believe it or not. So we have onions. We want to break up those clogged arteries. We have onions, dark chocolate, asparagus, broccoli, lentils and beans, pomegranate, tomatoes, chia seeds, garlic, turmeric, green tea, red grapes, citrus fruits, leafy greens, whole grains, avocados, fatty fish, berries, nuts, and olive oil. All righty. All right. Don't say you didn't get it here on It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. So let's get to our news. What are we talking about today? All righty. So I got a couple of updates. So the other day we talked about the man who killed all those children, shot the wife and the girlfriend. Well, they are going after everybody. So you know they can't go after him because in his the chase after he hijacked the car, he ended up being killed by the police. But they are going after the one who supplied the gun. Yes. They say there's a 56-year-old Louisiana man who is facing federal charges for allegedly supplying that Shamar Elkins of that gun he had. And they say the assault rifle is the one that he used, that hand pistol, that assault pistol is the one he used to kill the children. Can you look at that ugly gun? Can you imagine that? Those babies under that fire. Lord have mercy. They didn't stand a chance. He shot them all in the head. Now, Charles Ford is eating this one, baby doll. Yes, he was arrested and charged with being a felon in possession of a firearm, also making false statements about the firearm to the federal agents. Now, they managed that quickly to trace where this gun came from and who had their hands on this gun. Now, they claim that some woman that's where the gun got started. Now, I don't know who else is going to be eating charges on this, but there's a woman that they have connected to this, and they say she was the one who gave Charles Ford the gun. So she immediately told that at one point she did have the gun and she gave it to Charles Ford. Now, when they asked him about this, what's his name? Shamar Elkins having the gun, he lied and said that he doesn't know how Shamar Elkins. No, he was not the one who Shamar Elkins got the gun from. So then, after pressing him, he did end up telling the story about Shamar Elkins having the gun, but he claims he doesn't know how he got the gun. How a gun looking like that can go from person to person, but you don't know how that person got the gun out of your possession. So the other reason why he's taking the hit is because he is a felon, and we all know that felons are not allowed to have guns. So he's eating that one big time. He's facing up to 20 years in prison if convicted on both charges. He's definitely going to be convicted on a felon having a gun. So he can really forget about that one. He won't be seeing the light of day anytime soon. All righty. The next story we're talking about. Let me see here. So they're warning us yet again about our traveling and our spam and scam habits. They always tell us don't take our eye off our stuff. So there is a woman who was in Athens, Greece on vacation with her husband. So the husband left his stuff there with the wife, and asked her to watch their stuff. Well, while she was at the table, a man approached her, showing her some map, constantly putting this map in her face. And she said she felt like there was some intended distraction. And she was like, go, 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 but he was, asking her, pretending like he couldn't speak, English and all this kind of stuff. And she said it went on for a minute, but finally she was able to get him away from her, but felt good when he left because her pocketbook and wallet with a passport and everything was still like sitting between her legs. Her husband's stuff was still in place, but she realized her phone was missing. And she realized that her phone was on the table where he kept putting the map in front of. And she said he had on long sleeves, which she thought was really weird. And she said she realizes that that was all the distraction stuff that in order to get her phone. So she has her wallet and her, stuff, but she doesn't have a phone. So they have been warning everybody again, please put your stuff up. These people are going to come and try to do all kinds of things. Make sure all your stuff is safe and secure so you do not, experience this here. Terrence says, for them to track that gun down to that many people, they knew something about that gun. The feds knew something about that gun, and they waited for someone to use it. And look what happened. Yup. That's why I say ain't no way in the world a gun like that, all of a sudden now you know the origin, you know how to backtrack this gun. Now, if you didn't kill the shooter, where you get the information from? I'm with you, Terrence. I am with you. I am with you. I am with you. Because I'm like, what do you mean? They tracked it back to people. So, I don't know, y'all. We definitely want to pay attention to stuff. All right, what else are we talking about? We have another story. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This type of story just keeps coming up over and over and over again. So we have Kevin, 24, and Ashanti, 23. They are were a Louisiana couple. And a few months ago, Kevin was arrested for assaulting Ashanti. And they charged him. He did some time, and they ended up letting him go. So I want to try to get that time that they had that he supposedly served. So they're saying that a few months ago, he was again charged for assaulting her, and they had a family violence charge against him, a third-degree felony that is out in Louisiana. And on February 19th, he was charged and he was given 280 days in county jail. But he was also given credit for the time he had already served. Well, they found Ashanti dead. So y'all done released him to now end up having him kill her. She was 8 months pregnant with their first child. And they knew something was wrong, her family, because they say that they got a text on her from her phone that says, I'm leaving and I'm not coming back. And they knew right then that something was wrong, because why would she say that? Well, they ended up going, doing some searching. Her body was found on April 16th near a bayou, they say, in Houston's Chimney Rock area. And the family is just like devastated, because they feel like had you not let him out, then they would not have found their daughter dead, their family member dead. And this seems to be the thing these days. These men are killing these women who are pregnant, and they're not 1 and 2 months pregnant either. They're delivering soon. And so we know that subsequently they'll end up facing a murder charge for not only mom, but for that unborn child. But they don't seem to care. That's the issue. They don't care about these things. That's why it's so important that when they get these charges, they lock these people up and hold them. You can't keep releasing these people, because at the end of the day, listen, let me help you with something. These women who are pregnant are, in a sense, kind of vulnerable. You know, you looking at, remember, this is their first child. So she's probably looking forward. They done talked about having this baby, and, you know, all of these dreams that they have of raising this child, and she's not thinking about how volatile this situation has been. And because, again, this is months earlier. So that meant that if they found her dead at 8 months, that if this was back in February, that's only a couple of months later than when they snatched them up, you know, from February to when she's found dead in April. That means that in February, that was not his first time assaulting her. That was the time when he was caught assaulting her, or she got tired and called the cops. That was not the first time. That was not the first time. And now, you know, he gets out. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do it anymore. And here we go. This nasty cycle of vulnerability. And now mom and baby are dead. Terrence says we can't keep people in jail too long. If they did the crime and they paid that they did the time for the crime, we have to let them out. That's just sad that this happened. No, here's the thing. We can keep them in jail, Terrence. I disagree. So you have an assault. Now let's go back a little bit. Let's go back. They claim that this assault on her, let's go back. I'm going to get this right. That on February 19th, they arrested him on an assault of, they said, a continuous family violence, 3rd-degree felony. How do you let a person out in 280 days for a 3rd-degree felony charge? So I disagree. You cannot, don't let them out, because you need to give them longer time. So I agree with you when you say once they serve their time, we got to let them out. So even if they gave him 5 years, once he served the 5 years, you got to let him out. I do agree with you there. But now what you need to do is give these people harsher time. And it's funny because I was talking to Shantice about that yesterday. And I said, you know, we're not going to be able to get the guns off the street. We're not. Stop. We're not going to be able to do it. Because it's just like any other crime. Whatever we do to keep it off, they're gonna find a way to get to get them on and into these kids' hands. What are you gonna do? Make the penalty harder. Maybe then you'll start getting some stricter. You get some stricter rules. Now somebody will think of twice. No, this seems to be the thing. Kill my baby's mama. That's the theme. Over the last year, how many stories have we done? Kill my baby's mama, especially in these last few months. Every time we turn around, every week we've got a story on some child and mama, unborn child and mama killed. So we need to start punishing these people harsher. Not only that, I'm gonna tell you something else. These charges, again, this ain't their first time doing something. No, most times they got a record sitting out somewhere for something else. So if you got them on this charge and you now start looking at their background and understanding and dealing with them as this continuous family violence charge. It says that he had originally been charged with assault, continuous family violence. What does continuous mean? That means this ain't your first rodeo. So you mean to tell me you gave him 280 days on a continuous family violence charge, which is a 3rd-degree felony? Nah, y'all are off. Y'all are off. And I'm not saying, listen, I'm speaking first hand. You're crazy. You're crazy when you let people treat you like this, when you're abused and you just continue to accept this. Yes, it's our fault. It is our fault. I will not slight that at all. I was there. And so many times I say to myself, what were you thinking? Why would you let that go on? But wherever I was at 16, 17, 18, that's where I was. And that was the bad part that went on with me. And, you know, he went on to do bigger things, worse things. So listen, this here, they need to start making this a little stricter. Thank God I still have my life. Thank God Shantice is still alive. And God saved me. Because had that gone on for a little while longer, had I not walked off when I did, it would have been bad. If not death. Yeah. It was bad. It was bad. Tamara says, and they can't keep watching on everyone they let out, and they assume they're going to do something after they get let out. We can't watch every single criminal. No, you're right. We can't keep our eyes on every single criminal when we let them go. But you can surely keep your eye on every single criminal if you keep them in jail longer. And these assault charges are serious. This ain't no 1st degree, 2nd degree. This is 3rd-degree assault. Continuous. So you let them out in 280. Nah, man, I'm sorry. That's just a few months. That's a few months. Okay, no, sorry. You know. Mm-mm. What else are we talking about before we get to because I never go to this far. As a matter of fact, let me talk to my due time crew. Where they at? Where's my lady, Tamika? Where's my girl, Tamika? Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Thursday to you. How are you?
Yes, I am well, thank you, Tamika. How are you?
Doing well. Trying to decide on whether my nose is. Look, both of us are doing the same thing. Like this.
Yes. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah, and I'm trying not to, but it's like help.
Yes, and it's just so disturbing. But hopefully we'll feel better real soon and we can get this conversation underway. But listen, we're talking about 2 things here. We're talking about this issue with this man who shot up this whole entire family, all his children in one pop, dead, including somebody else's child. We talked about this on Monday, I believe. And now by today's news, they have this trail of where this gun came from. And Terrence's theory is y'all had this gun on the radar for a minute in order for you to be able to so quickly trace backwards, because he's dead. He can't tell you where he got this gun from, but y'all done managed to find out that this wait, got the wrong story up. That this other guy, Charles Ford, had the gun, who's a felon. And somehow Shamar Elkins got the gun from him. And before Charles Ford had the gun, some chick had the gun. and told immediately, I gave the gun to Charles. Charles got the gun, and somehow or another, Charles got the gun to Shamar, and he lied and said, I don't know how he got the gun. He didn't get it from me. And they were able to snatch him up. And now he's going to serve possibly 20 years because he is a felon who had no business with a gun to begin with. What's your thought? You know, are you going with Terrence, who says, yeah, they had that gun on radar. Now they're able to trace that gun back. Ugly gun. Such an ugly, nasty looking gun. That gun had been through some hands, girl.
Yeah, it has had a trail. You know, the first thing I thought of was, ever since the Antoine Fisher story, anytime I hear Elkins, it's automatically, I know that, you know, but I'm looking at the Elkins name and I'm like, oh gosh, you know, and then, you know, yeah, they were watching that gun, you know, they were just waiting to see whose hands it was going to be. There's no way that quick, you know, technology has its way of getting around, you know, but that quick you were able to find that information out. No, yeah, you know, they when they finally got him, they're like, oh, now they got some fingers, you know, some fingers on it. And yeah, they have been watching that. You know, a lot of times you think that they caught somebody right on the spot. No, because the person who had the gun, who caused all the damage to these lives, is gone. So how in the world could you find out that information? Yeah, they were watching it. Mm-hmm.
All righty. All right, you on to something, Terrence. You're on to something. Where's Shantice? Let's see if she agrees. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
All right, thanks. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Good. So, are you with Terrence and Tamika? Y'all done had your eye on this gun because ain't no way in the world y'all done found out the trail of this gun so quickly.
Absolutely. From when they arrived on the scene, and I couldn't even imagine being the arriving officers and all the detectives and seeing that. And I'm pretty sure the first thing was like, what weapon was used? Because, you know, a lot of times, well, all the time on a homicide scene, you have, I forgot what they're called, but you have the one forensics. You have the forensics on there on the scenes. You know, they look like, oh, you know, it was shot by a 38 or, you know, such and such a gun or a machine gun or whatever. And I'm pretty sure at that point the wheels were turning. Like, nah, we got to figure out, because they're probably quickly analyzing who the perpetrator was. Okay, and then especially once they gunned him down, now it's like, well, how would you?
Which is when they found the gun, by the way.
Oh,
this
right.
From Monday, because they first found a handgun, but they said by the time they caught up with him and killed him from the carjacking, this is where this gun was found.
So they found this gun on you. You don't use this gun to hijack a car, even if the person is in the car, even with the driver in it. No one has a machine gun like this, or whatever this is. Normally it's a regular handgun. No one has a rifle, a machine gun, a bomb to hijack a car and steal a car. So that was probably where the wheels really started turning, like, nah, we're gonna have to trace this, because you have no type of military background. You have no type of this. He did. Oh, he did. Oh, okay. Well, I can still see it from there. It just, the wheels turning, and now they've been able to go back, and she was not trying to be sent up in no one's holding room doing no 50.
Oh, yeah.
Question.
Oh, yeah. She told.
Let me tell you the day was when I stopped at the store and I got the barbecue chips. And then I went over this, like, I'm telling everything, because as silly as it was for you to have it and for you to now pass it on to someone, let me just make sure I exonerate myself from, I didn't know anything like this was going to go down. And she better still hope that they still don't charge her for that.
Absolutely.
You still gave it to a felon. So whether you knew that this particular crime was going to take place or not, or that he was going to end up subsequently giving it to someone else, he wouldn't have gotten it if you didn't give it. What were you doing with it?
Right. With that nasty, ugly looking gun.
Right, like, you
how
found
would you even have gotten? Right.
That looked like you found in somebody's alleyway. This looked like this was in another shooting, and they had to throw it in the alleyway before they got caught. And you just happened to be walking through the alleyway and you picked it up. That's what this gun looked like. So yeah, she better pray that she doesn't get 20 years as well, or 10 years or something for giving it to, because he could have committed the crime. You know, it just happened to get passed down the tree of life, and now it ain't got in the hands of a real sicko. And look at what he did with it. So it's not all that surprising that they were able to trace it back.
Where's our Pastor KL? Let's see what spin he puts on this story. Good morning.
Here I is. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How you ladies doing?
Okay, thank you. Okay. What are we talking about here? You've got Mary Jane, who they didn't track the gun back to Mary Jane. Then Mary Jane said, I gave it to Charles Ford. And now Charles Ford is responsible for giving it to Shamar Elkins, who kills the 8 children. You know somebody going down, and everybody going down for this bad boy.
Yeah, everybody going now. Listen, you can't come to my house and borrow sugar. You can't borrow sugar, let alone borrow my gun. You know, I mean, listen, there's too much at stake. At that, first of all, why you want to borrow a gun? What you need a gun for? You know what I mean? That should be the first thing on your mind. You know, no one does anything nice with a gun. Even when you go hunting, you're going to kill an animal. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing nice that we do with a gun. So the first thing in your mind was, why did I give it to Junebug? What did Junebug need a gun for? And then, why didn't Junebug give the gun back to Shaquita? Why do we have to give it to Junior? You know, this is the gift that keeps on giving. No, everybody go to jail.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I'm sure some level of technology transpired in that too, because you didn't just walk up, you know, Mary Jane didn't just walk up on Charles Ford. You know, you look at, okay, so you look at Shamar Elkins and you say, okay, what was his last conversations? What was his phone calls, you know? And you piece that all together. Again, technology, you know, I know for a fact technology played a role. You saw somewhere where those communications transpired and you pieced that together. Okay, gun, person, got it. Real simple.
Yep. Listen, we watch enough First 48 in this house to know how it goes down.
Yeah, listen.
And so they tap everything and your mama. They tapping social media pages. They tapping, you know, everything. Your phone records and how. Remember, they always do that 6 degree of separation thing. Well, when he was in jail, who visited him? And, okay, listen, they are 8 children. They don't care nothing about them 2 women who got shot. Those 8 babies. Oh, everybody going down for this one. Everybody and their mama. And I'm gonna tell you something. This chick who had the gun, there is no way she's not gonna do time either, because I go back to that nasty looking ugly rifle. Why in the world would you ever put your hands? Why would you ever need to ever have this in your possession? Why? Why?
Maybe she's opening a gun museum.
You're going down. So you know what? We always off the beaten path. So yesterday we talked about the kids, the boys who went to the same school as Jane Pierre, who got shot for just a senseless shooting happening. And we're talking about the trail of guns. Like, why would you have these guns? You know, people are going to pay for having these guns. And everybody and their mama who is a part of this trail of gun possession is going to they're going down. So I connect the two because I say, be careful of the company you keep. So you have, let's call her, what are we gonna call her, Tamika? I'm gonna give you the pleasure of giving her the name, because I want to give it to Shantice or KL. I want to give it to them.
Dag,
So,
I had a nice name.
I know you did. Tamika, what we calling her today? Who we calling her? What's her name?
I'm trying to think. Shawanda.
Shawandika. Okay. Because, see, Shantice and Pastor KL would have had the thing. They would have had a name off the tip of their tongue. There was no thought behind that. So Shawandika has this gun. Now, Shawandika clearly has a seedy set of friends. How do we know that? Because ain't nowhere in the world, if you're an upstanding citizen, you gonna have this gun, come on, Shantice, in your possession. So we talk about the kids in the park on April 16th. Know who your friends are from when you were children, because clearly we are not keeping track of who our friends are as adults. Why do I know that? Because, hold on, we have
Shawandika wouldn't be in my circle.
56-year-old Charles Ford. We have 31-year-old Shamar Elkins. These are grown people. If you're 51, as Pastor KL says, you're closer to the cross than you are to the crib. You have to be careful of the company you keep. So Shawandika knew, like Shanti said, that Charles Ford was a felon. Why would you give the gun to Charles Ford? Charles Ford knew good and well that Shamar Elkins wasn't dealing with a full deck of cards. So why would you let him have possession of your gun? Why do we need from kids in that park? You need to know who your friends are from young. Because if you don't know when you were a kid, you'll be Shawandika, Charles Ford, and Shamar Elkins later. And I'm going to start with you, Pastor KL, for this one. I'm starting with you.
Well, first of all, Charles Ford, you know how it's funny how, you say, hey, Charles Ford died? And they be like, Charles Ford, who's that? Man died. Charles Ford ain't have no name. Didn't nobody know Man ain't no Charles Ford. Everybody trying to figure out who Charles Ford is. Man, that's Man. You know Man. You know Man was a crook. He was a criminal. I'm just saying.
Not Man.
I told you to make an angle. They didn't need no time on that name.
Not Man. Why I gotta be two
Man
names?
is Sharonda.
Man.
That works.
But that's true. It's only in our culture. We don't know anyone, especially the last name. You don't really.
Everybody government name.
Right. But it's especially if there's in the hood, if there's more than one person with the same name. Now you got the word before the name, so you can determine which Darnell, which Darnell, Fat Darnell, Wolf Darnell, Ruthless Darnell. Yeah.
And watch this transparency moment. Y'all fools call me KL.
Years ago, I asked KL, what did KL stand for? So wait, y'all. Transparency moment on his point. This is transparency moment, right? So hold on now. 40 years ago, no, 30 years ago, because Shantice is 40. 30 years ago, I met KL. K period L period. And I asked him, what does KL stand for? He told me what it stood for. Ain't make a whole lot of sense, but that's what it stood for. So 20 years later, 25 years later, I look and I see KL on Facebook. But it ain't K period L period. It's KAYEL. And I'm saying, hold on a minute. So now people believe that that's KL. That's his name.
Hey, I'm man.
No, wait, Shantice, when you started talking about nobody in the hood knows you by your, and you're right. It'd be one done. It'd be
either fat Darnell, broke Darnell, toothless Darnell, the Darnell that got hit on the corner of Rochester, and you remember that day because that's the same day. So ran out the house. No, new Darnell. No, I'm talking about new Darnell. He the one that just moved in. You be like, we don't have to cut some of these Darnells off because if we give one more suffix, I would be mad.
No, you forgot Black Darnell.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't say it, but I thought it.
But now it's Buck. We have to take the L out because they blacker than black now. So thanks to Minister AJ, you're now Buck. You're not black.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you know what the problem is? When they tell you that Darnell died, and you go to the wrong funeral because you think it's the other Darnell.
But why
you like Darnell?
Why
you like this?
Oh no. So let's get back to where we started. So this why you got to know who your friends are, because I want to go back. I want to do a quick update. So word has it now that the shooter of the 15-year-old Jaden Pierre has they have a suspect, and I can't think of he's 15 or 17, one or the other. And they say that they believe that he has now fled to Jamaica. So I said no, Jamaica, West Indies. It took place in Jamaica, Shantice.
I'm trying to figure out how a 15 or 17-year-old and fled and went to another country.
This is the point I'm making. Okay. Because when they showed the picture, I said somebody knows him. He's not a stranger. Somebody is able to look at that picture right away and go, that's Man. They knew who this was. Now, his people, then if he fled to Jamaica, that's because his people didn't help him get there. Because if you 15 to 17 years old, you ain't got the means in 5 seconds to get from Jamaica, Queens to Jamaica, West Indies. So your people didn't help you get there. Your people who knew who you were when you committed the shooting, you better know the company you keep, or either you'll be Sharondica, Man, or Black and Shamar Elkins. So Pastor KL gave why. Now let me read Terrence's comment. He says they probably sold it off the black market, and that's why they ended up probably getting caught like idiots. But then again, the gun had to be registered in the first place for it to get transferred to more than 3 people. Wow. Shantice, why do you need to know at 15 years old who your friends are? Because now it went from Sharonica to Man to Shamar Elkins. No, I'm sorry, to Black Darnell.
At 31, I ain't have no 56-year-old friends.
Ooh.
What do we have in common? You now are AARP eligible. I am.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Listen, it is what it is. I'm in my prime at 31.
Ooh.
I done did whatever I did, good or bad, through my 20s, and now I'm gonna be either buck wild or settling down in my 30s because God says in my life I'll be 40 soon, where certain things just shouldn't be taking place. So I don't have no 56-year-old friends at 31.
51.
I'm sorry. 50 anything with the 5 in front of it, you are not my friend. And I don't have a 5 starting with my age. Okay? We're not friends. Okay, so when you're now 15 and you claim you got 20-something-year-old friends, and you're an accomplice. You're not a friend. Ooh. You're someone who they need to use, so in case when the gavel comes down, you could do that big because you a minor. You could do that big because you're a first-time offender. Or ain't nobody really no one may be paying that much attention to you because you're a child. They'll be looking for someone our age or someone who they figure is automatically rolling with us. Unless you're a sibling, to me. But you're not a sibling to me. They're not checking for you immediately, maybe, unless they literally catch us together. I'm 15 and you're my peer. Half the time, these kids who call these people friends are their bullies. Who tripped you down the stairs and your tooth fell out? My friend.
I know. When the kids come home, they always tell these stories.
It'd be my friend. Someone stole my money. Who did that? My friend. I saw someone kissing a girl I like. Who was that? Oh, my friend. It's just like, it's never like, oh, I'm going to the school dance with who? My friend? No, I'm going to the school dance alone. I went to the school store by myself, but all the crazy stuff happens with your friends. Okay? And that's exactly what I said. I said, because if no one else knows who that shooter was last week, them 2 boys that was beating up on Jaden knew who he was.
Right.
Especially if you saw the video. They knew who that was. So if all they did was put them 2 in a holding cell until they spoke, they know who that was. But see, these are your friends. Enablers are not your friends. Because real friends are going to put you to the test, put your integrity to the test. And once they see your integrity is null and void, they don't want to be around you, because it's only a matter of time before you flip on them or you have them in some mess. Because if I'm thinking that all me and my other friend are going to do is just rough him up some, beat him up some, but then you show up with a gun, hold on, Bishop. Wait, Bishop. We said we were just going to beat him up. Where the gun come from? There's always a bishop in the crew. So when you find out that there's a bishop in your crew, analyze your friend set. Okay? Because one of the reasons why Bishop got to where he was, because he was hanging around a bunch of enablers. Still was too scared to say something. Raheem always wanted to keep the peace. And it was only Q who was willing to go toe to toe, right? But then because he had Steele, who wasn't really saying anything, and Raheem, who would back him up, but always trying to be the peacemaker, it was like, I'm fighting this battle by myself. No, enablers are not your friends. You got a bunch of yes people around you, they're not your friends. And that's why now as adults, you got 40-year-old men who don't want to talk to you, because the second you say, I don't think so, they want to cut you off, because to them, someone who's really in my corner is someone who's going to enable the stupidity that I want to get into.
Mm-hmm. She brought out a lot of different things. Give Shantice a chance to talk. You got 9 different topics. All right. Tamika, why does this Sharondica, Man, and Black Darnell indicate to us that we need to know who our friends are when we're Jaden and all of these other kids, who, and I'm not saying Jaden was hanging with the wrong people, but what I'm saying is when you're that age, right? Why is this an indication? And I always say, big messes were once little messes. Why do we need to know when we're kids, because if not, this will be our lifestyle when we get older.
Correct. There's always a June bug somewhere. You know, when it's in your bloodline and Junebug is in your family, you pretty much know automatically. Okay, me and Junebug ain't gonna never, hang in the same circles. We're not gonna do such and such because you know it. Okay, that's Junebug. When Junebug disappear, you don't go. Well, Junebug, where we going? No, we're not Siamese. Let Junebug do what he needs to do. And when family gets together, that's another thing. Now we're talking about people that are not family. So you can really make a choice. You don't have a choice when it comes to family, who you're related to. But we're talking about choices and decisions that we make. And we start that stuff as childhood. What is it that attracts you about this person?
Right.
Down in the very beginning, you sitting there and you watching them fight, or bully somebody. Because it starts off real little. It might be something petty. You pulling a female, her bra strap, or you hitting somebody across the head, and you go, wait a minute, what did that person do? And maybe you're enticed by the fact that they have that, but we're talking about a weapon here. How do we get friendships like that when we become adults? Like, I'm looking at people, across the board. Who can I, Shanti? Can I borrow a gun from you? You're okay. So I asked Shanti for a gun. She's like, oh, no, I don't have one, but
which color you want, girl?
She's like, KL has it. So, like, what kind of relationships, like connections?
Right.
How do you get people like that? Because there's nobody in my circle that I can say, can I borrow? You got a gun? Can I? We're not talking about,
right.
Let me borrow your hair clip. Let me, females borrow things, but a gun. There's nothing in my mind that says we're gonna do good things with this gun. And you don't ask questions. I'm gonna give. You automatically know that I'm up to no good. And because you know somebody like that, then that makes it all evident. All three of us.
Right.
None of us are worth any good. And through all our lives, we ain't been good. You can automatically tell. Because how do you know somebody? There's nobody that I can think of in my Rolodex of friends. Even in my Rolodex of family, and even if I did know somebody, I'm not gonna tell you, oh, I got somebody over here no, because you automatically it's gonna come back to me that I had a hand in it, even if it's just a little. No, I'm not going down.
I don't know any of my enemies that have a gun. I was really sitting here thinking, I'm like, wait, I don't like him, I don't like her. They don't own no gun.
We got to check it from Brian. Hey, Brian, who says, hey, Shantice. Hey, Pastor. Hey, Minister Tamika. Girl, you done got an upgrade.
I got an upgrade.
Yes. Hey, Brian, where you been? We've been missing that. Hey, Shantice. Well, we trust that you've been doing well, Brian. Welcome back. Thank you so much.
And he got my name spelled right. So
yes. That's why I say he's paying attention.
He's been making friends with light-skinned Darnell.
All right, Brian. We need to know your accountability. Where you been? It's really there's a lot of things that have been said, and I want to go back to where Pastor KL started. And we laugh. Stop, Serge. Serge says, dang, no hey, Pastor KL. Don't start no more be like, don't, Serge.
I just forgot to ask him the hey, Pastor. And you put hey,
Pastor. Okay. Oh, he says, I've been really busy trying to expand my business. All
Not
right.
the gun business,
Amen.
right?
Very, very good. Very good. Very good. Good for you, Brian. Good for you.
Yes.
Providing it's a legitimate business.
That's all I just asked. It's not the gun business, right? I hope you ain't handing out none of these.
Right. Let's go back to where Pastor KL started and where Tamika went and where Shantice went. Okay. So, Brian, hey, Pastor KL. Brian says, so you have Pastor KL who says, hey, Charles Ford died? And you're like, who's Charles Ford? Oh, man. If you don't know these people's names, they can't be your friend. When we used to go home, we couldn't have gone home telling my mama.
I was hanging with man.
And he said, where were you? Oh, I was with Shay Shay. I don't even want to, I can't say on this broadcast the response that I would have got had I said to Ernie, I was with Shay Shay, because at that time, Ernie was mommy.
You would have been 98 hearing about how you was with Shay Shay when you were 8.
Right. You just didn't go home telling your mama I was with Shay Shay and not Sherelle. Because you just didn't get to know them that well. And if you did get to know them that well, you didn't let your mama know you knew Shay Shay. Because see, let me tell you something. My parents were from the street. You go home to my Shay Shay, you ain't never talking to Shay Shay again.
Ever.
Because as far as they're concerned, either Shay Shay from the street, their mama in the street, their grandmama in the street. And my father would ask you, who's his father? Because if her name is Shay Shay, I know her father because her father from the street. Right. My father would tell you in a minute. I know them all.
Shay Shay daddy work at the number hole.
Right.
And Shay Shay's mama makes the chicken dinners for everybody in the building.
Oh gosh. That's just the way you were raised. You just were not raised where you took that, even I don't care what you called them in the street. Mm-hmm. When you went home with the government name from school, that you knew them from school. You didn't want because let me tell you something, you didn't pick up no strays. Mm-hmm. You knew them from school. You knew them from church. Because that's the only two places you went. You weren't in the street long enough to meet a Shay Shay or Black Donnell. You just didn't. Pastor KL.
You those when you cut school.
Okay.
You need them when you cut.
Okay. Pastor KL, am I lying?
No, you are definitely telling the truth. You couldn't come in there with no Pookie and Junior. Junior who? Junior, what's the first name? Junior what? You know. So I mean, I want to say, I heard, Tamika and Shanti say, I ain't got no friends that, on that side. Listen, let me tell you something. At our age, if I call Pastor Steph, I know what the conversation gonna be. We're gonna joke a little bit, but then we're going straight to Jesus. Now, if I call somebody else, I know what that conversation is. It ain't gonna be Jesus. It ain't no. You got some people in your arsenal that ain't talking Jesus. If I'm going through and I'm really, as I always say, the hell is in me, I know who to call. Yeah, if I don't want to hear Pastor Steph there, well, let us pray. I'm calling Man. Cause Man ain't gonna pray. Man gonna ask me, hey, what you need me to do? Let's touch and agree.
We're gonna give you this.
And listen, when man touches and agree, he gonna touch them. You just gonna agree with it. That's it. That's gonna be the touch and agree. So I'm not oblivious to say ain't nobody in my listen. I don't care what y'all deep Christians say. Some of these folks you gotta keep in your circle. You gotta keep them in your circle. You might not. Listen, you gotta have and this is what they call a balanced life. You gotta have a balanced life. You can't Jesus me. Listen, I can't always hear what would God do. I can't always hear that. It sounds good, and I'm just being honest. Sometimes I gotta know what would man do. What would man do? You know what I mean? Sometimes, wait a minute. Sometimes man just got to take it for the team. You know what I mean? We as Christians, after man does what he does, we'll pray for him. But sometimes man just got to go forth and be great. Go forth and be great.
Be great.
Don't y'all listen to Pastor KL. I'm going to the bad place.
You can never be great owning that. This is not equivalent. This is not on the opposite equal side of greatness.
Oh my Lord, have mercy. Oh my gosh. We're going to give Pastor Kale a chance to redeem himself. For those of you who listen to him for the first time out the gate, we're going to give him a chance to preach to you before we close it down today. Tamika, I done forgot where I was.
I got it.
You said, what would Jesus do if he was forced to that? That was the question.
Oh, go ahead, Tamika.
I got your redirect. I got you.
Thank you.
You know, and I think about, our childhood. We knew those children. We knew, Shay Shay's family. We knew black, not black, but black. We knew him, and we knew their family. And you couldn't spend time with them, and come home and say, I was with Shay Shay, because, there was indicators. Even if you didn't say anything, with parents that were integral about raising their children a certain kind of way, your behavior, something about your behavior, tell your mom and dad that you've been spending too much time with Shay Shay, and automatically they start asking questions. Well, where you been?
Right.
And, my mother would ask me so many questions until I got afraid to tell her where I've been. Or I was so afraid that somebody somewhere would be telling on me. And I was the type of child, I would come home and be like, she'd be like, where you been? I was at Shay Shay's house, and Shay Shay daddy smoked, and
you want to tell on yourself?
Tell everything. So I was always, so I was so afraid, because my mama would come to me and say, what have you done? And I was like, I was crazy, because I was thinking, the Holy Spirit told her, no, I'm telling her everything. So I just go home and tell, but your child has indications that they've been spending too much time with such and such. And this is why we have to be integral from the childhood to say, oh no, you're not spending no more time at Shay Shay house. Black, no, you're not, no, because you acting a little crazy, and I'm gonna have to cut that off. Because sometimes the children don't know. Everybody, when you're a child, everybody's your friend. You don't even realize, like you said, y'all all went out and I bought this brand new jacket for my child. Where's the child? Where's the jacket?
Right.
It was with my friend. Which friend? Oh, I was with Shay Shay. Now mama got to go over to Shay Shay house and try and figure. No. There are
where that came from. Yep.
Right. So as a parent, you got to know, nurture, and cultivate, and make sure that your child, it is going in the right direction. And when you start seeing those indicators as a parent, do your due diligence to make sure that your child doesn't end up, even because I think about where I was, I knew who I could spend time with, who could come over the house. When I tell you there was very few people that could come over my house, and I couldn't go and spending the night was out. I'm not doing that. Because by the time you come back, you're a totally different individual, because you done been in the enemy's camp, and now you got to come back home for my mother to slather oil all over you.
Right. Yes. I tell you, knowing, creating a home that would kind of box you in to the company you kept back then. Now it doesn't seem to be the thing to do as a parent.
No, because my mama name is Shay Shay. So why am I finding it abstract And my friend name is Black Rob.
Right.
And Shadow.
Right.
And June. Because look at my parents' names. You know? Not only that, I always found it hilarious. You brought up how we always watch the first 48. They done tracked down the suspect's friend. Or they trying to get to who the suspect could, possibly be. Oh, my friend. So where were you yesterday at 3:40? I was with my friend. What's his name? Rick. What's his last name? I don't know.
Yes.
You should get locked up just for that.
Yes.
You are a 35-year-old man in this interrogation room. You ain't say the homie from the corner store, it's just a cordial hi-bye thing. No, you talk about my friend. I was with him all day yesterday. I was with him earlier today. You pull up my phone records. You see constant communication via text and verbal phone calls, but I don't know his last name. Mm-hmm. Start analyzing your life. Okay, and you hit it right on the nail path stuff. It has everything to do with the home dynamic. Because there's no way I could even reference someone as a Shay, as a nickname like that. It would have been I done gave their name and then told you, oh, they called. And I can't even really remember that. I can't even really remember having, unless it was, like I said, the multiple Darnells and we had the suffix, I guess the light skin one, the broke one, the toothless one, all that. But the nicknames like that, no. You didn't have, the closest thing to a nickname we had was Rick that Chantel used to date, not the Rick that Judy dated, the Rick that Chantel, like that was the closest thing we had to nicknames back then. But because standards have plummeted,
right,
these nicknames are actually what's on the birth certificate. Someone gave me their name the other day, and I was like, "That's your real name?" And they were like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm really asking because I asked you your name. We're grown people. Don't be giving me, we are officially middle-aged people. Don't be giving me no nickname. Especially when you're trying to initiate a conversation with me, because that is the quickest way you're going to get your feelings hurt, sir. Don't come to me with no nickname." No. But again, because that's acceptable in the streets, that I had to tell one of my younger family members, I almost cussed someone out because they called them a nickname. Oh, her name is such and such. I said, don't, it's not even cute. She has a name. Call her by her name. Because you're older than her, you're calling her that. See what I'm talking about? So you ain't got no friends in the 50s and you in 30s. You're calling her that. Now they thinking because you're older, you're calling that it's acceptable.
Right.
It's definitely acceptable to their peers. So now everyone else your age and older than you should be acceptable to that. So now when someone comes and tells them no, now they mad. Because now it's throwing them off. No. But it has everything to do because my parents' name is Ray, Shorty Tim, and Shay Shay. So why am I taking it back when my friend says her name, is one of those names? That's what I'm used to.
Make a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Years ago, our mothers had, when our friends called, said hi, they said, hi Miss Randall, or hi Miss Judy, they didn't say hi Miss Shay Shay, they had regular names and that's what you called them. And that's what we called them, Miss Barbara, Mr. Charles, that's what we said. But like you said, Shantice, now, because that's the name. And not only that, when you walk through the door, you Tamika's friend, but when you walk through the door and KL is Tamika's father, when you walk through the door and say, "Hey KL," that's what they do these days.
Right.
Everybody's a P. Mm-hmm. There's no Mr. and Miss anymore. And Kelly, hey, what's up? What's going down? It's like this peer thing that's actually happening. So now the standards have completely dropped. And this is why, you have this it starts from the home, but it's not starting from the home. So therefore, everything is twisted and convoluted now. Brian going back says, absolutely, my business is legal. I lease shipping containers to importers and exporters. Good for you, Brian. Good for you.
Amen.
Also, Brian says, I miss my mother so much. She would talk with you so calmly and gently and tell you to meet her in the living room when she says that you about to get in trouble. Pretty much.
My mother did the same thing too, Brian. I know the rules.
But y'all brought up something, and I'm going to take this into a little overtime if I can. Y'all brought up something, and I'm going to start with you again, Pastor K.O., because you're probably the first one that has to get up out of here. You just didn't bring things home, and nobody, Tamika brought it up. You didn't bring things home, and nobody was clocking what you walked through the door with. You know, nobody, they went through your room because it was not your room.
Absolutely.
So they were all underneath the bed. They were in the closet. They were in your pockets. You didn't have no privacy. And you talk about this all the time, Pastor KL, how this ain't your house. You know, you don't have, it's my rules in here. You didn't have this where kids brought things home and a parent could say, I didn't know that was in here.
Right.
Correct. Nowadays people are wearing each other's jackets, wearing each other's clothes, and doggone well you ain't buy that outfit. And they come in there bling blinging it. And where did you get that from? Oh, Shay, she let me borrow it. No, we're not wearing each other's clothes. We're not doing that kind of stuff. I am definitely the spokesperson that you stay here. You don't live here. You stay here. There's a difference. There's a difference. And until children understand the difference, that's why they talk to their parents the way they talk to them. Because they think that we have equal ground. When you live here, that means we have equal ground. Because that means that you're paying something in here. You're paying some type of bill. No, you just stay here. I allow you to stay here. You don't live here. So at any time, I can put you out. And that's the problem where we are with parents and children of these days. We keep on talking about they got feelings. No, you don't. You don't have feelings. When you can feel a light bill, you got feelings. When you can feel a mortgage, you got feelings. If you just coming in, going into my refrigerator, the only thing you're feeling is that air coming out the refrigerator. You don't have no feelings. I don't care what you feel. I'm sorry. When you can't pay heat, you can't pay AC, you can't even buy your own drawers, you ain't got no feelings. Because if there's a hole in your sock, I gotta go replace that. You stay here. You don't live here. And if you don't like the staying accommodations, you can go.
Tamika, you were the one who brought up, you didn't come in that house with things that your mama did not buy, that your father did not buy. And then you're going to have to account for everything you walk through this door with. And it better be something that originated from here.
Because at that age, you're not buying nothing. You ain't got no job. So everything that you own, everything that you have is given by mom and dad. If that is the dynamics of your household. I remember, I think it was a shirt or something that somebody had given me that I was going to borrow. And I stuck that thing between the dresser drawer. So that means you had to pull the dresser out to find the shirt. And I was doing something. My mom, I went in the living room and she was like, "What's this?"
Ooh.
Huh? I was like, "What?" I mean, like, how in the world? Because in my brain, in those areas, there were things you couldn't close the door. I didn't think my door closed until I was adult and married, because that door stayed open. You could not close that door. Even if I was getting dressed, that door stayed open. If I wanted to get dressed, go in the bathroom, that door can close. But my bedroom door, there were rules and establishment. I mean, how do you not know what your child is doing? you don't pay attention to what they watch. You don't pay attention to where they go. They come back when they want to, or, whatever time they're assigned, and you haven't asked the question, how was your day? Who did you hang with? Even in my childhood, I remember if I went with somebody, what their mama name, what's the phone number? You don't have any of that information. As a parent, you have to guard, and I think about, what I thought about is Job, when his children went to partying, he went to praying, before their lives were taken out. That was his thing, and as guardians, whether we are the parent, the auntie, we are the circle that's supposed to pray for these children, because you don't know what environment. Okay, you think that they just went to school. Okay, fine. Who's in the school? Everybody in the school is not saved, and their households. What are their households like? You do your due diligence, because there's 50 million questions that you can ask your child. Well, I went to Shay Shay's house. Who is Shay Shay? Who's Shay Shay's mother? Who's Shay Shay's father? Does she have any siblings? Is mommy working? Those are important things, because and the child, when you start giving just names like Shay Shay, you don't have all of that extra information. Right. And so as a parent, you're at a distance. My mother had no problem. I'm going to Shay Shay's house. God, I don't want to tell her information because I can't do nothing as a child. And it's funny because as a child, you're annoyed by all of the things, all of the questions, but then when you realize, if mommy hadn't asked, if mommy hadn't done her due diligence, if mommy hadn't showed up at the school in the middle of the day, if mommy hadn't pulled out the dresser drawer of all things and found this one thing, she saved me. And plenty of times when mom said, you can't go out with these people, you can't hang with these people. These people cannot come to your house. She is safeguarding your entire soul so that you don't end up as a Shamar, Elsie, or Sharondica, or Man, or Black Darnell. These are the things that she's trying to save you from.
Right. Absolutely. Brian says, ain't no nicknames, ain't no loud talking, ain't no cussing in front of women. Hold on. And children, my mother used to bite. What she said, bite her. She didn't play the radio with us. You're right. There was a barrier between, you and your parents. That those walls didn't gel, or those walls never came down. Shantice, what's your last word today? Going back to just locking in everything. You didn't bring anything home. Oh, do we have a story? I'm not saying
tell my share of.
Man, you did not walk through this door with something that did not belong
I'll never
to
forget
you.
One time, my boyfriend bought me a pair of earrings. And
exactly the story I was thinking about.
No, I know. But I told him to tell her, you got these for me. I'm not wearing them in that house. You go in there, you show her the earrings, and you tell her you bought me the earrings. So you get swung at first. And then if she don't swing, and she just suck her teeth and walk off, then maybe I'll wear her.
She don't swing.
But,
wow, okay.
But no, I've had my share of, didn't I tell you, don't take things from people, don't accept even the slightest things from people. And got rocked, literally. And not understanding at the time the severity of it, because again, I wasn't one who would take things from people anyway, but not understanding how something so simple could be so because what if now she wore these earrings when she shoplifted and that's all they got in the surveillance camera are these earrings, and now they happen to see you walk in that same area with the earrings. Now you go down. She didn't tell you that she committed a crime wearing these earrings. You know nothing. And this wasn't a weapon, but it was something to identify someone in something that they had no business doing. So again, but see that the issue is that these parents don't care about their own lives. They trying to find their own life. They want to have their own life aside from the kids. So I can't be attentive to you if I'm trying to do me. There's no time to do both.
Right.
There's no time to govern the type of life I want to live, plus check homework, screen your friends, what you're watching, who you're talking to. There's not enough hours in the day to do both. That's the mentality. And the parents end up choosing themselves. Or you have the other ones, like it kept being reiterated in the community meeting we went to the other night. Y'all scared of these kids. Mm-hmm. And one mother said, she said, I said in front of the cop, I wish you would, because I will kill you. So another parent said it, and she looked at her, which is so cultural in our culture. Like, I'll beat you just because you heard it. So because you heard it, you might be thinking it. But she said in front of the cop, and it's right. It's either I discipline you or I let your peers or the police discipline you. You choose. You choose who you want. Because see, what happened to that young boy is a form of your peers disciplining.
Yeah.
He didn't have to do nothing to them. But that's a form of your peers disciplining. These cops who are just shooting you for no reason and beating you for no reason, that's how the cops discipline you. So you could deal with those two or you could deal with me. So it has everything to do with just we've fallen so far from the true household dynamic, whether it's a single parent household or a 2-parent household. No one is taking the time, and this is why everyone else has to fill in the gaps. The church must fill in the gaps. Aunties and uncles must fill in the gaps. Close family friends must fill in the gaps, because these parents just ain't it no more. It's just like now the aunties and uncles and the family friends have to now discipline you and your child. Serious, because by the time I check your child, now you feel some type of way. Now I gotta check you in front of your child to let your child know how serious it is, and that I'm serious, that I'm not backing down, because I actually care about you. And if that means I'm always gonna have to go toe to toe with your father and or your mother to show that, because they obviously need some discipline too, then it is what it is. But unfortunately, we've fallen from the caring. No one cares anymore. This is why you got friends in different age groups and friends who will loan you a gun, or friends who would even have access to weapons. It's just it's stupid now. Stupid out here now.
And not just an everyday gun. Look at
that ugly, nasty gun that done been through some things. That's when I saw the gun in the picture in the article, I was like, well, where would you get this gun from?
The alleyway.
And this gun went through hands of people you know. Like Shanti said, you didn't find this in no alleyway. That's the scary part to me, because I thought the same thing. I'm like, oh Lord, where did they get this gun from? Brian says, yes, yes.
No, go ahead. Tell me what Brian said. It's important.
Yes, we truly living in different times. There used to be times where parents study together and stay. What is he saying?
Study together.
Thank you. In the community. Absolutely, Brian. Absolutely. What were you going to say, Pastor KL?
I just want to say one more thing. So back in our days, Pastor Steph and I, when we had children, at a very young age, they call it christening. They christen their children, which means that they gave the child back to God. So, which made us understand that though they were our children, they wasn't our children.
Right.
They were borrowed. They didn't belong to us. So we had to take care of them, because God was watching on how we took care of these children. Now these parents don't care what God say. They don't care what no one says. If I can put melatonin in your bottle so that you can go to sleep, so I can hang out at night, then it's fine. If I can send you to Shay Shay so I can do my thing, then you go hang out with Shay Shay. But no, back in our days, we were accountable to God for our children. And now no one is accountable. They let the children do whatever they do, and then when they go to jail, God, if you just get them out of this. God, how could you let this happen? God, why did you do this? God, why me? And God is saying, listen, there was basic instructions that I gave you, even dealing with your children, and you failed to follow the rules. When you don't follow the rules, no matter what it is, whether it's shoplifting, whether it's taking care of your children, whether it's taking care of yourself, there are consequences for not following the rules. We got to get back into following the rules.
He redeemed himself, y'all. He redeemed himself.
Ah, yes. That's right. That's right. Thank you so much, my Due Time crew, for always coming through big time. Thank you, and thank you. Have a nice day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Reese's who says amen. Amen and amen. You know, we've been talking about, you know, this whole situation with the gentleman, the man who killed up the whole group of his every child you had, you killed in one swoop. You killed up, and I keep saying, and someone else's kid, who everybody was just together, thought that they were having a good time, you know, had a little sleepover, and you shot the wife, you shot the girlfriend. You went on some tangent, you know, to just get to where you needed to be, right? And I can't even imagine. Like I said, when I opened up the thing yesterday, the article, and it said that, hey, we found not just the trail of this gun. And I'm saying to myself, wow, this was quick, fast, and in a hurry. They hurry up, and they are determined to make sure someone pays for the lives of these children. And, you know, I still go back to asking the question. So Shamar was the one who did the shooting. He got the gun from Charles Ford. Charles Ford got the gun from Sharonica. So my question is, why did Sharonica have the gun, and who did she get from? A nasty, ugly gun like that. Why would I, again, I've asked this question, why would I have that gun in my possession? What was the point? Why would I even have that in my possession? Again, the company you keep. Like Pastor Kale, you know, he jokingly said, I need somebody in my arsenal who's going to give me both sides of the fence. You know, if I want to hear, you know, what did God say, I know I'm going to call so-and-so. If I want to hear, yeah, girl, listen, I'm getting dressed. Let's go key his car. You know, I know who to call. And we have to understand that as you get older, you need to clean this mess up. You need to get yourself together and clean this mess up. Because as you get older, let me tell you, they always used to say, I wish my kids would stay younger, because when they're small, they have small problems. But as my kids get older, the bigger they are, the bigger the problems. And it's true. It's very true. Well, that's what happens with your friends. Your friends at 5 ain't your friends at 15, ain't your friends at 35, and ain't your friends at 55. Because as you know, you begin to shed that extra weight, shed that onion skin begins to come off, and those friends begin to dwindle, because you realize that your life needs to go in a certain direction, and them friends there, that Ray Ray and Shay Shay and Black Mike and all of these people, that's just not the way I want to go. And as much as we joke around, if you do some real assessment on names, those nicknames depicted who that person was. But you know, we say Black Mike or whatever, because, you know, like Shanti said, you know, if you know 5 mics, you got to be able to differentiate which mic, and one just might end up being, you know, 1/11th mic, or, you know, Harlem mic, or, you know, a big mic, which meant he was big, you know, whatever. You know, however you need to, but certain nicknames, it automatically determines who you are. And I remember having a set of kids in the church, and they would call the mother would call, and then subsequently the brothers and sister would the brother and sister would call this child by this character on TV, cartoon character, and this was, but he was a bad kid, cartoon character. And I hate, oh my gosh, you want to talk about getting underneath my skin? Oh, we call him so, I was like, stop calling him that. I also don't like, I had to stop someone from saying, he gonna be just like his father. Stop that. No, you speak life into your children. So, see, all of this stuff, you feel, oh, we just call her so-and-so, and, we just call him so-and-so. Sometimes people don't shed that stuff. And I'm not giving you any name, any nickname that will depict something negative. But see, that comes with maturity. And can I be honest with you, as much as some of you may not agree, that comes with spiritual maturity most times. None of my girls have nicknames. None of them. No. This is what I named you. This is what I'm calling you. And that's it. If anything, it's a shorter version of your name. But other than that, that you ain't getting them nicknames from the street. Because again, my father said he used to always tell people, my girls ain't street, but they know street because they learn from the best. All they had to do is watch. And we learned from a young age. There's just certain things that kind of went with you, and certain things that you did, and certain things that you shouldn't have been doing, and certain relationships that you had no business developing. My sister and I, if our friends, most of our friends are from years ago. We really don't have recent friends, because for me, friends are tried, tested, and true. And at 60 years old almost, I ain't meet no brand new people like that. Very few. Pastor Kim, which all of you, if you went back into our blog talk days, we are friends. And I met Pastor Kim here from Facebook. I met Elder Natisha here from Facebook. We are friends. These people I can call on at any given moment. They're going to be praying. They're going to travel. They're going to do, sis, I got you. Pastor Charlotte, I got you. But most of the people in my life that I call a friend, because I always tell you what my mother said about your friends, those people are from years and years and years ago. And I could tell you about them. Tried, tested, and true. And I can, at any given moment, I could call them and I could yell and I could be upset or whatever, and they'll listen. I can go to them same people. But they're not going to help me key no car. They're not going to help me rob no bank. There's going to be some stern talking. There's going to be some praying. There's going to be some, come on, sis, let's get our head together. Or I'm saying to so-and-so, all right, now that you done got that out, it ain't because I don't understand, but I don't agree. You have to draw the line. But most times, and people may not agree, but I'm telling you what I'm watching. Most times that comes with just guidance from God. Most times you don't find most people who are in the Lord making certain decisions in this arena of friendship. Pastor Jeff and I have become nice friends. Nice relationship that I've developed with Pastor Jeff. I know Pastor Nicole, I know his wife. Very, just a relationship that's developed. And I don't have to worry about, if I'm standing, I can't stand on the corner and talk to you. If I run into you at the corner of 125th and Lenox, I can't stand there and talk to you because I don't know who might be driving by and who might have a hit out on you. I've had to tell my kids, don't get nobody's car. You got 2 feet. Walk. You got money in your pocket, take a bus or a train. Don't get nobody's car, because see, that'll be the day that they light up that car from something and you just happen to be in the car. See, you have to teach your children things like this. You have to teach your children things like this. Because all of this stuff matters. All of this stuff is connected. All of these things make a difference in the decisions you make. And now as adults, I see them, I hear them say certain things, and I kind of stand over in my own little corner and I kind of chuckle. Because I say to myself, well, thank you, God, because that got across to them. You know, we talked about, again, that Sharonica, that Charles Ford, and that Shamar Ellis. And Shamar Ellis ain't living no more, because we don't know whether he had some level of mental illness going on. We don't know if he was on some drugs. We don't know if he was just disturbed, and this was some level of just straight domestic violence and abuse. We have no idea, because he's not here to tell the story. Now, when these two women start talking, if they should ever talk, we'll get a little better understanding, because remember, it started with them. He shot them first before he shot the kids, so they can kind of tell you what set him off. But when we compare this to the incident that happened in the park, where a 15-year-old kid was just shot for no reason, again, we say those who knew the shooter ran with the shooter. They may not have known technically that he was going to shoot, but they knew his characteristics. They knew who he was kind of like. They knew who he was. And Shantice always brings up the bishop in the group, the juice story. 4 of these kids hanging together, you know, all they're going to do is, you know, cut school, and, you know, they're going to rob, you know, this one, or stick up this one. You know, all this stuff is a joke at one point. But at another point, it grows. And it not grow in the juice story, because that's the way life evolves. Somebody grows out of control. And all of y'all that's in that group, now you find yourself in some compromising positions. So Raheem completely lost his life at the hands of the bishop. He then tried to kill the other one, because they used to boss him around. He didn't have a voice. He just always went along with it. Only one stood up to him. Only one of them said, you know what? No, we're not doing this. But remember how it started. We all started with the melee together. I can't control what you do, how you get out of control. But at the last minute, I realized that you're the wrong person I need to be around. If you don't start that process, then you don't end up in that process. There's not one person in all of my 60 years that I have ever gotten to the point where I said, oh no, you ain't trying to kill somebody? No. But I have said, oh no, you know what, that and I don't even mean like some reckless life like that, but just goalless. If I'm talking to you every year, we talking, and you talking about the same thing, you got the same complaints, you ain't grown none, then I'm at that, oh no, we good. Let me just kind of move over, because we're not in the same circle no more. Because just by the evolution of life, we outgrow one another. But my biggest growth came when I decided to make Jesus my choice. I was already separating from certain people. But it wasn't until Jesus entered my life that I really started saying, nah, we good. Because we can't be on that same path any longer. If you don't do it when you're young, it is going to be hella hard to do it when you're an adult. Sharonica is gonna make the claim that she didn't know that gun would end up in Shamar Ellis's hands, where he would shoot the wife in the face, shoot the girlfriend, and kill 8 children. That's her claim. Charles Ford is going to make the claim that he didn't know that Shamar Ellis would get that gun and do all that, because he's still claiming he don't know how he got the gun. Ain't nowhere in the world, if you got your hands on a gun like that, you don't know how your peers got the gun. And Shanti said the key thing. So Charles Ford is 51 and Shamar Ellis was in his 30s. Where do y'all even connect in life? Why is there a connection? So already something is off kilter. Get yourself together from young. Moms and dads, get your children together from young, because it's going to make a difference when they get older. This is a prime example. Prime example. This wasn't even where we were going. I had 2 other stories. But God needed that to be talked about today. And one thing I love about this Due Time crew, boy, we can have a ball, but there is a message in every conversation. Please, God is charging us. Train up your child in the way they should go, so when they grow old and when they grow older, they will not depart from it. Something, that seed is planted, and God is watering that seed along the way. But you got to give it to them, because when you don't, you throw caution to the wind. You just throw all the cards up in the air, and where all the chips fall is where they may fall. You don't want your child like that. You don't want them growing up like weeds. But the only way you can ensure that is if you give them God. Now, at that time, they could make up their own mind. But it won't be because you haven't watered the grass. It won't be because you didn't plant the seed. It won't be because you didn't water the lawn on that seed, and God could give some increase to it. Let's not make that mistake. Let's look at Sharonica, Charles Ford, and Shamar Ellis and understand that if we don't give our children Jesus, they may be the person who takes those people's lives. And here's why the feds are getting the Charles Ford and the Sharonica, because had you not put that gun in his hand, if you didn't make that gun accessible to him, those babies would still be alive today. So we have to understand that there's some accountability here. Remember, I talked about yesterday, the pastor said, am I my brother's keeper? That's how we closed yesterday. I am my brother's keeper. When you allowed your nasty gun to get into those hands, the hands of Shamar Ellis, you are technically responsible for those children's lives. Yeah, you too. You didn't have to be the one to pull the trigger. They're making everybody an accomplice and accountable. Be accountable for your child's life. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew for always coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us and helping to keep that chat room alive. Please do not miss this opportunity to just accept Christ as your personal Savior right now. Please do not miss the opportunity to strengthen that relationship with the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Please join us tonight, God spares, for another episode of My Two Cents. We will be reviewing Adolescence, a limited series on Netflix. We will be reviewing Mayor of Kingstown, Season 2, Episodes 4, 5, and 6. Come join us and help us decide as to whether we should click it or kick it. All right, until then, I love you.